So the crypto markets are starting to heat up fast, and we can see the new investors starting to come in, and everything has been looking extremely green recently. So this is the time that people start to go a little bit bananas, and not in a good way. So I think this is where FOMO starts to kick in for a lot of people, but also people start to wonder if they've either come in too late, or they don't know what to invest in, or they don't know if perhaps a project that they are really interested in is too late to get into. So today we're going to break down a few things that I think we need to remember as we're on the run up to the Bitcoin halving in April, and how to keep a cool and level-headed through the bull market. So number one, is it too late to start investing? Now, the most seasoned investors are probably snorting a little bit at this one, but this is a very legitimate worry for some people, and there is a lot of information out there that says you have to be buying in the bear market and selling in the bull. And yes, this is the absolute ideal situation, but maybe these are young people. Maybe they're 18, 19, 20, and they haven't heard of crypto, or maybe they're more elderly and haven't heard, or maybe they are more elderly and they also haven't heard about crypto until just now. And there is a lot of reasons why people get involved at different times, and there's no right time to start investing, unless of course it's very clearly the peak kind of bull market time and all the prices are sky high. Then you should probably hold off a little bit. Now, if we need to reduce our time and risk, so for example, it's not an ideal time to invest, but it's also not the peak of the bull market, then we can dollar cost our average way into making some returns. So this involves splitting your investment over different time periods, and this can reduce our average investment cost. So remember, even in the bull market, we do experience pullbacks. Even Bitcoin sees pullbacks of, I think it was roughly like 10% was in the last bull run. I think it pulled back around 10% on quite a few different occasions. And this can make it like a good DCA time. And there is obviously the argument that lump sum investing can generate slightly higher returns, especially if you're maybe a little bit later into investing. But I would probably only think that this is a good idea if you have a lot of cash to invest and you're confident in your timing in it. So number two, now this would be if you think you have missed the boat on a specific coin. So, I think it's quite a common saying, especially in cryptocurrency, that you've missed the boat. So unless it's like a meme coin kind of pump and dump scenario, the chances are that any decent projects that are out there right now, you haven't missed the boat on. Everything goes up in a bull run, and I mean absolutely everything. So maybe you won't get massive returns on it, but the chance of you making a loss, if you know how to obviously withdraw your profits, is very, very low. I remember when I first started investing around 2020, and I thought I was super late investing into Ethereum, and I thought there was absolutely no chance I'd make any cash on it. And this was when it was sat at around $500. And I don't think we've ever seen $500 again. We had an obviously very brutal bear market. Don't think we've seen $500 at all in that time. So if you are DCAing into these, then you're in pretty much a win-win situation for it. And another good thing to try and remember is how many people thought it was too late to get into Bitcoin. So even when it hit, so if we go right back to the very beginning of Bitcoin and say when it hit like $50, $100, even $500, how many people thought they were far too late to get into it? And it's now sitting at over $50,000. The most important thing is if you have done your research and you have the conviction on a project, then go for it. Getting an entry point on a project you have researched is very, very different to just FOMOing into a coin that your favourite influencer spoke about for maybe 3 minutes on a random Tuesday. And another thing to look out for, and it's something that I have seen quite a lot with ICP recently actually, but it's obviously not limited to ICP, it's just the only example I have just now. But this is the claims in the videos that go out saying that it is running out of supply. So this probably doesn't apply to like the seasoned investors, but for example, when I first seen the video with the title, and I think it was ICP running out on exchanges, I can't remember what the exact title was, but I remember looking at it and I was like, what the heck, how is this running out of supply? And instantly I thought it means, we won't be able to buy ICP anymore. And a lot of people are probably going to think like, wow, how dumb are you, Mel? But it was literally a split second thought. When you're kind of like mindlessly scrolling through YouTube, but your brain's a bit switched off. It was one of those. But anyway, this is exactly the type of thing that makes people start to FOMO into coins because they think they're going to miss it. And how many new investors will have seen those videos and be like, better buy up before it's all gone? So if we just put on our sensible hats and remember that this is a circulating supply. So if we break down in kind of simple terms what it means if a supply is running low on an exchange. So if the supply of a coin held on a exchange is declining or it is low, this means that there is a very bullish sentiment for the project, and it means that people are removing their holdings off of the exchange, more likely because they see the project as a long-term strategy and are keeping it securely in cold storage. Or with, I think, ICP in particular, a lot of people are staking their ICP. But if the supply on a coin increases or it is high on an exchange, it indicates that there is high liquidity of the token with potentially more people who are looking to sell. So I don't think that is guaranteed. I don't think that's an exact analysis of it, but it's kind of my thought process behind it and how to try and view it. But the way that videos and the news and everything like that are on this subject, it usually is suggesting that the supply is going to run out entirely and we won't be able to buy it ever again, which is a little bit unfair, but it is life and it is YouTube. But there you go. Just remember, do not panic if you see it. It doesn't mean that you have limited time to buy it, and it doesn't mean that you will never be able to buy it again. So the last thing that I want to discuss on this one is panic selling. So panic selling is something that makes sense. I understand it and I've done it. It's kind of almost like a right of way in the crypto world, isn't it? But hopefully we can help to avoid some others either doing this or continuing to do this. So investing is obviously very, very stressful, but it's probably one of the most profitable but stressful things that you can do, and it is very, very emotional. I don't care if you're a 6 foot and 19 stone caveman, I can guarantee you that if anything can bring you to your knees, it's going to be about money. So learning to control your emotions in anything is obviously very, very hard. And especially if you're a female, for example, because we are pretty much just little balls of emotion 24/7. But it's the most powerful thing you can do to ensure that you remain rational during market volatility. It's also really important to remember that anybody can say anything in crypto and it can create FUD. So not long ago, we had the rumours of Fetch.ai going into administration, which kind of had parts of the truth in it, but the majority of it was like snippets of the truth that were embellished to make it sound way worse than it was. And I remember when I first heard about Fetch.ai. So I remember when I first heard the rumours about Fetch.ai in the administration, the first thing I did was jump on and check the chart because I was like, oh my goodness, it's going to tank 100%. But I think if anything, I think it's like more than doubled since this whole thing came out. So I suppose the best way to kind of avoid FUD and avoid panic selling is just by doing our own research really on the news and see what we ourselves can actually establish from it. Because I think once you start looking into the rumours, you realise a lot of the time there is no kind of evidence to back up a lot of the claims. Now, seeing your money go down is obviously an extremely stressful moment, but if you have conviction in the project, if you've done your research, if you know it's a good one, you should step away before hitting the sell button. Take an hour to consider, and if you're constantly indulging in every single piece of news that's coming out, it's going to increase your blood pressure and you're going to hit sell. You're going to see the price recover after it and make its way to what could potentially be all-time highs. You need to remember your end goal, because there's nothing worse than realising you've maybe pulled the plug on a project a little bit too early. Now, to link back to the title of this video, is it time to panic? I just don't think there is any time to panic when it comes to investing. Do you think that Warren Buffett is sat staring at his stock charts, sweating it out, or do you think he's sat with a cup of coffee just thinking, hey, I hope it goes back to green? And if you're wondering if I just googled the most successful and famous investor, then I absolutely did, because I needed to find an example of somebody. But the moral of the story is that I don't think there's ever a perfect time to be buying or selling. You get in when you get in and you get out when you get out. As long as you are taking your profits and you're doing what you set out to do in the first place, then this is what it's all about really. You're never going to be able to perfectly time the markets. All you can do is your very best to get a good entry point or to DCA your average cost in. So hopefully this was useful to a few people out there. Let me know in the comments below and I will see you next time. Bye.